I can see people's sins. Part 2. I decided to brave it and actually go to work today. My boss was going to figure that something was up if I just called out on both days bordering the weekend. He probably would just think I went too hard on the weekend and would let me go. I just got this job and I can't afford to lose it. I figured that if I had to go into work today, I was going to make it more bearable for myself. Something was going on, and I knew that I could see the bad things that people had done. From what I can tell, all of this happened in the past. I didn't do a great job of explaining it before, but everyone in my visions were younger than I currently saw them. This, so far, has nothing to do with anything that will happen in the future. It just enables me to see into someone's past. But not just any part of their past. This is the deepest, darkest part of their personal history. I decided to practice before braving the streets of Manhattan again. The town that I'm from is relatively small, so I chose a little coffee shop that I knew wouldn't be too crowded on a Sunday, and sat myself down for the long haul. I was going to figure out what this was, and how I can control it. I ordered myself a hot chocolate, pulled out my laptop as a ruse, and just sat there staring at people behind my sunglasses. I don't know what triggered the visions before, so I wasn't sure how to bring them on. I figured that concentration was probably the easiest way to control something, since that's always how it's done in the movies. I was wrong. I sat there for over an hour, hiding behind my laptop screen, giving myself a headache by staring at the strangers through tinted lenses. I sat back, instantly aware that I was also hunched over in extreme concentration. My nose was merely an inch or so away from my laptop screen. I relaxed myself, pulled my sunglasses up to the top of my head, and started rubbing my temples as my eyes adjusted to the world in real color, instead of the copper-toned coffee shop I was used to. With my eyes closed in concentration, rubbing my temples to alleviate the headache that I could just feel brewing beneath the surface. My friend Adam sat across from me at the little table I had been occupying. He must have slipped in the shop while I had my eyes closed. "Hey you," he said, dropping a backpack on the ground and dragging the metal chair across the floor as he pulled his seat into the table. "Hey," I replied back. I definitely did not want to make small talk. I was on a mission here and had to get done before work tomorrow. "Notice that you're wearing sunglasses inside. That seems a little off for you." "Yeah, I'm working on a project. It's hard to explain." "Okay, well, hope you don't mind if I sit here and write a paper with you." "Nah, that's..." I cut off in the middle of my sentence. It happened. I can see Adam sitting across from me, a look of worry slowly crossing his face as he realizes that something is not right. I couldn't even finish my sentence to him before I zoned out. But as I see Adam looking at me, I also see him in my vision. I see Adam in his basement, where my friends and I had just hung out a couple nights before. Except last time I was there had been a bunch of party lights, and the place wasn't in a state of disrepair. Now I'm looking at Adam sprawled out on the couch, half clothed, with bottles, food cans, and pizza boxes littered across the floor. He's sleeping, or at least that's what it looks like. He starts to stir in his sleep, and I see him blindly reach out to the coffee table and ruffle around for something that he can't quite find. He keeps slamming his hand down on the table and knocking bottles of water off the edge, looking for something. And then he finds it. I see his eyes open, and a smile spread across his face as his fingers finally clutch what he was looking for. A syringe. He takes the syringe, which was apparently already loaded in anticipation for this moment, and shoves it into his arm. His eyes roll back in a state of ecstasy. He drops the syringe to the floor, and his head lolls back into the arm of the couch. I was speechless. Adam, the real Adam, sitting in front of me, had never even took a hit from a Joel that our friend Monica carried around. He always said that stuff will kill your lungs. I guess he's less worried about other parts of his body, though. "Show me your arm," I demanded. "Whoa, wait, what just happened to you? Why do you want to see my arm all of a sudden? Are you good?" "Show me your arm." His eyes darted around left to right, looking for anything that could save him, but nothing could. He looked at me square in the eye and rolled up the sleeve of his left hand. There they were, dozens of needle marks dotting his veins like a roadmap of usage. The minute I saw those needle marks, I ran. I knew it wasn't just fantasy, it was real, and it was harmful. I shut off my laptop, grabbed my bag, and ran out of the coffee shop without even taking time to put everything away properly. I didn't stop to breathe until I was in my car, and I realized that not only was I breathing, but I was fully hyperventilating. The trigger must be proximity. I didn't see anything when I was staring at people across the shop, but when Adam sat down next to me, it triggered a vision. And the same thing happened in the city too, when the woman ran into my arm, and when I got too close to the homeless man on my commute. Without thinking, I put the car in drive and drove to the place that I felt safest in the world, my parents' house. I don't remember any of the drive there. My mind was just occupied elsewhere. And I don't know how or even if I'm going to explain this to my parents. I just need to be around my family and in my childhood home. Whenever I'm there, I just get a feeling of calm, and that's the only thing I really need right now. I don't know what Adam is going to tell everyone. There's no way I could have known he was a user before that vision. And he has no idea how I found out. Everyone is going to know now. I knocked on the front door, and when my mom answered, I just collapsed in sobs in her chest. I had been holding my fear and anxiety inside so long. There was just nowhere else for it to go but out. We moved to the couch, and after a minute, she went to the kitchen to heat up some water for tea. She still didn't know what was going on, but I guess moms are just good like that. While she was gone, my dad walked into the room, saw my puffy eyes, and decided to sit down on the couch with me, just to see if there was anything that he could help with. The minute that my dad sat on the couch, it started again. I began to yell to get away from me, but I couldn't get the whole sentence out. I plunged into another vision, this one about my own father. I raced out of the house, hoping that the proximity increase would stop whatever was about to happen, but I was wrong. I ended up just experiencing it alone, in my car. This was something I wasn't prepared for, or even thought about. I thought I was safe with my own family. I know their past, and there wouldn't be anything that could really surprise me about them. But I was wrong. I saw my dad in the vision, and judging from the hair and outfit, it was sometime before I was born. Probably back in the late 80s. From the look of things, my dad was just out on a date. Like before, I couldn't see the other person in the vision of the past. But I could make out that there was someone else. There was a rock ballad playing on the radio, and the lights of the car were out. It just had a romantic feel to it. I see my dad moving closer and closer to whoever he was with, and start to lean in. This is where I almost wanted to close my eyes. I didn't want to see my dad kissing someone, but I didn't. I knew from past experience that these weren't just visions of the past. Something had happened here that I was meant to see. I had no other choice but to continue watching, and I see my dad reach into the compartment in the car between the two front seats. He pulls out a large knife, gleaming in the reflection of the city lights in the background. He pulls the knife up to eye level and drags it in one swift motion from left to right. The vision at this point gets tinted in a red color, and I see the knife in my father's arm being pulled back and shoved forward time after time. My father just killed someone. He just stabbed someone to death, and I watched. I thought that was the worst part of things. It couldn't get worse than that, but the vision continued. In the past, the vision always ends as soon as I see the bad thing happen, but this kept going. It skips ahead in time a little bit, and I see my dad walking around to the back of the trunk. He struggles a bit as he lifts something out of the trunk and walks it over to some spot in the woods. He stops to catch his breath for a moment, and I'm able to see where we are. Although I have no idea where in the woods we are, I know it's somewhere important to him. There are other bodies in various states of decay throughout his wooded area. I think my father is a serial killer. I've been in a state of numbness for 24 hours now, and I don't know how to stop it. I went to work today and saw other visions throughout the day, but I can't tell you what they were. I have no recollection of anything else happening since that vision about my father. I'm completely numb. My father is a serial killer. This is Kinetic Symphony. If you've enjoyed this narrated story, please subscribe and like the video to help me grow. Thank you.